Hi guys, how you doing? My name is Antos, and today I'm excited to show you another wireless follow focus system. This one's from a company called Senna. I already reviewed another product from this company, which is a remote controlled pan and tilt head. Now this follow focus, it's, as you can see, the box is, it's a lot bigger than the one that I reviewed before, which was the one length wireless follow focus. But that's because it has a few extra features that the other one didn't have. So anyways, let me open up this case and show you guys what's inside. So it comes with a little instructions here for, the basic sort of setup, which I'll put aside because, as you know, I never use instructions. And yeah, and it has everything basically in here that you need to use the follow focus. Now, obviously, to use any follow focus, it doesn't matter if it's remote or not, you will need some kind of rails on your camera system. This actually comes with rails of its own, but I'll use the rails that I have already on my camera. Here's the remote control. Put it aside. And also it has these two separate motors, which we're going to install in a second. And it has the receiver. Now the rest of the things we don't really need right now. It's basically things like, extra chargers, different pitch gears. And also comes with these the little gear adapters that will convert your DSLR lenses into sort of like Senna style lenses. Now I'm actually going to be using today the Bauer 85mm Senna lens. So this one already has the gears on it for both the aperture and the follow focus. So I don't need to install those. So to install the whole system, first you'll need to mount somewhere this receiver. Now to mount it, you can mount it in many different ways. So it comes actually with Velcro here and Velcro that you can sort of stick it somewhere on your rig, or it comes with a little here 15mm rail mounting system. So I'm just going to use that since I have extra rails sort of sticking out in the back. Put it somewhere here and just tighten it. If I was using this, let's say on a Steadicam or something, I'd probably just Velcro it here to the top so it's sort of closer to the center of gravity of the camera. But on a tripod, it doesn't matter. Next, we need to install these gears. So it comes actually with two gears, and that's because you can use one gear for the actual focus of your lens, and the other one you can use it. It actually says it comes so that you can adjust the zoom of your lens. So, for example, like let's say if you have a DSLR zoom lens, you can you can control that. But since I have a prime Senna lens, I'm just going to use this to control the aperture of my camera. And both of these motors are marked motor 1, motor 2. So motor 1 is for the focus. So I'm going to mount motor 1 first, and just slide it here on the bottom rail. And I'll do it so that I can almost touch the motor here. I mean the gear on the lens, but not quite. So it's just sort of right next to it. And then the other motor, I'm going to mount it here on my top rail, just so it's easier to get to, and so it's easier for you guys to see. But you could just as well mount it here on the other bottom rail. And again, you don't want to, you want to mount it so that you just barely are, basically you're just right next to the lens, but not actually touching the gears. That's just during the setup. Now then, to connect the whole thing to the transmitter, you just plug in this little cable. Plug it in here in the back. There we go, and that's it. You can always sort of stow the cable away so it's not sort of flapping around up there and getting in your way. Now that's pretty much it for when it comes to actually mounting the hardware here. Next thing we need to do before we can actually use it with the lens is to sort of configure the wireless follow focus. So it comes with this cool little remote. It has two things up here. This one's for motor 2, or like I said, it could be your zoom on your lens or the aperture ring, and this one's actually for the focus. And you can mark this disc and all that stuff, just like a traditional follow focus system. It also comes, with Velcro and things like that, so you can attach extra batteries. The built-in batteries actually in the transmitter here and the receiver will go on for about 4 hours. But if you need more power, it actually comes with extra little batteries that you can just, like I said, Velcro up here and plug it in. And those are identical batteries as the wireless, pan and tilt head that I reviewed before from the same company. So now to connect the two, the transmitter and the receiver, we'll just basically power them on. Wait for a second, and once you hear the gears moving, that means it's connected. So next thing you want to do is you want to sort of rotate both the focus ring and the zoom ring or the aperture ring clockwise, basically all the way. Rotate this, and then same thing for this. Once you have it in that position, we'll press button 1 and 2, 1 and 3 at the same time. Just hold it for a bit. And that means that it basically enables the motors here to rotate 320 degrees. Now, the great thing about this system versus the one, for example, that I reviewed from one length, is that it can rotate, like I said, 320 degrees. The other one is actually limited. I forget exactly how many degrees it is, but I believe it's somewhere around 90 degrees. And that means that if you have a, let's say, like a Senna lens that where you need to really rotate the, like I said, the focus ring a lot, then it might not be able to go all the way from one extreme to the other. Whereas with this one, with 320 degrees of rotation, you pretty much are covered for most lenses. So once we've done that, now we're going to go and rotate this to basically the other extreme, to the, to the other opposite side. Go there, and then the same thing with the aperture ring now. Now, once you do that, you also should pay attention to which way the gears are rotating, because now the thing is that you want to basically take both the focus and the aperture gear and rotate it in the opposite direction as what the gears of your follow focus system are rotating. So these ones were rotating counterclockwise, so I'll rotate my lens here to clockwise position and go all the way to the extreme. Same thing with my aperture. Go all the way to the extreme here. Once I have it in that position, I can actually connect the gears. So we'll just loosen this a little bit here, and just to connect the gears here. Tighten it. Same thing here for the focus. Tighten it. And now we're going to go and again rotate it to the other position and just slowly go. And the reason why you want to go slowly now is because you want to find the maximum position where the follow focus is supposed to basically go. Because if you keep on going, and like I said, the follow focus can actually rotate 320 degrees, and let's say your lens doesn't rotate that far, what you might end up doing is you might end up damaging the gears on your lens, or just even damaging your whole lens or your lens mount on your camera. Because the motors are very strong, and they have a lot of torque in them, and they're gonna literally rip the lens out of the mount. So you slowly want to go, and just sort of watch the lens until you reach the maximum here for both the focus and the aperture. Now the same thing with the aperture now. Go all the way to f22. And once I have that, then again I just press the 1 and 3 buttons. And now it's set, and the cool thing is about this is that this follow focus system, unlike the one from one lens, actually remembers the like I said, the extreme positions of both ends of the rotation. So now I can freely rotate and go really fast from one extreme to the other without worrying that my lens is gonna get damaged or the gears on it. You can see up here, moves in nicely. And also what that means is that now, even if let's say you have like a DSLR lens, which to focus sometimes on some of those lenses, you literally have to just touch barely the focus ring and just make tiny little adjustments. Well, now it's actually going to sort of spread that rotation proportionally to the whole rotation of this here follow focus ring, and that allows you now a lot finer sort of control. Whereas, like I said, if you manually try to set the focus on that lens, you would have to be very careful, because sometimes like I said, you might move it a millimeter, and then you're really changing the focus distance a lot. Whereas now with this thing, you can really rotate it, see, all the way, like a proper follow focus system should, and it really allows you a lot of very fine control. You can mark the disc here. Another cool thing is that this disc actually glows in the dark. So you can actually turn on this it's like a little LED there built in. So this thing and both that and the buttons will actually glow in the night, so you can see properly everything. And yeah, and as you can see right now, everything works very smoothly. Now the system, just like the one from one lens, is a little bit. It does make a little bit of noise. It's not horrible, but definitely, again, like I was saying with the other system, if you have like let's say some kind of a dialogue scene happening within maybe 2-3 feet from the camera, you'll probably pick up the noise of the motors. But then again, I found in my experience that usually when I use a follow focus system, most of the time it's because the camera is like somewhere far away on a crane or something, somewhere basically where it's out of your reach. So then it doesn't really matter, because for that distance you're not going to hear the motors. But it's just something to keep in mind. Now another thing that the system allows you to do is also to set memory points. You can actually set 4 points, and 3 of them are sort of these, hard set points, that you store here on these 3 buttons, and one of them is this manual one that you can, change at any moment, which is really cool, because some of the other systems, they allow you to store memory points for the focus, but they're all basically assigned to a button. So if suddenly in the middle of it, let's say, let's say you want to have one, if a focus mark that sort of, a hard stop, let's say, I don't know, starts on this chair, and then another one that goes to my face, and you want to be able to have that second, focus mark, so that, you can constantly adjust it. Then basically what you do is you just rotate this ring, and you can still adjust that mark, and then whenever you want to, you can just press a button and we'll switch to, let's say, this chair, so the hard memory, focus point. Now to set the focus marks is pretty simple. Like, let's say right now I'm going to set one here at 15 feet, 15 meters on my lens, and I'll just hold basically the button number 1 until it turns red. Do another one maybe at 4 feet here. Press and hold button number 2, and then do another one at 2.5 meters actually, and hold that. Now I see all 3 buttons. Basically, I went through it. I have memory preset set, and let's say I want to have another one. So I'll just click now number 3. So we turn off this little red light on it, and let's say that my 4th one, I just want it to be, I want to be able to change that focus preset. So I just basically turn the ring to whatever I want it to be. And now to play it back, you just basically press any of the points. So, and here you can also adjust the speed of the actual rotation. So here, I'll just rotate it here so you guys can see the lens too. And with this ring, I can basically adjust the speed of how fast I want it to go from one position to the next. So let's say, I want to go back to position number 1. I'll just press it. And you see it goes slowly that position. Now let's say I want to go really fast to position number 3. I'll just click it. It goes there. And let's say I want to go sort of halfway to position number 2. Like that. And if I now want to go to position number 4, then all I do is I just press the number 2 button again. So basically I press whatever last preset I've clicked, whatever button I've clicked, and it will always go back to whatever your focus ring is now set up. So it's a really cool thing, because like I said, you have 3 hard memory presets, but then you also have one where you can constantly on the go sort of adjust it. Now the whole range works actually up to almost 1,000 feet line of sight. Now, very, very rarely you're going to be in that kind of situation. You're usually going to be shooting through walls, or, you might be behind some trees or somewhere if you're filming out in the wilderness. So in that case, obviously the range will decrease, but still it is like, it's pretty much, like I said, you can safely go up to 150, 200, feet away from the camera, and you know that you're always going to have a connection with this. Another great thing about it too is that if I, for example, let's say run out of batteries or whatever, just turn off the system here. So I turn it off. Let's say I'm taking a break, and if I don't want to waste the batteries, can turn it off, and then when I turn the system back on, all those settings basically that I did for the extreme rotation of my focus and aperture ring, as well as the memory presets, are all set in here. As you can see, I can safely turn this without having to worry that the lens is going to get damaged, and the same thing with the position. So can go back, and it's a really, really cool function, the fact that those memory settings do not get reset. The only time when you will have to sort of reset your memory points, but also your the extreme sort of rotation of your lens, is when you change out the lens. So when you change out the lens, it's just unavoidable, simply because different lenses will have different rotational ratios. So that's the only thing. Overall, is my sort of final word. I think I'm really impressed with the system. Like I said, very well thought out, nicely built. This remote. The whole system is actually pretty light, even though this transmitter might look big and bulky. Like I said, it's pretty light. You can Velcro it anywhere up here you want on the camera, and it's cool that it has the 2 motors. Like I said, for zoom or aperture, and the other one for focus. The only thing I wish that they had done is that you could actually detach one of the motors if, for example, all you care about is the focus. because I know that a lot of times, for example, I don't care about remotely adjusting the aperture or the zoom of my lens. I just want to be able to adjust the focus of it. So it would be kind of cool if you could just detach one motor, like the cable, and you could just take off that little bit of that extra weight and just have that one motor running. Unfortunately, you can't. They're basically hard connected, like to this wire here. So you can see they kind of motor number 2 goes into motor number 1, and then the motor from that one goes to the transmitter, and you cannot disconnect this here. So that's the only thing that I wish they had done. Maybe, I don't know, maybe they'll do an updated version. But otherwise, there's really nothing bad I can say about the system. So if you guys want to find out more information about where to get the system, how much it is, all that stuff, just check out my website at tomantosfilms.com. Thank you guys, and I'll see you next time.